Good morning and welcome to the Friday Financial Review. I'm Paul Griffiths and today is French Resident Investing Part 3. So today we will be talking about pensions. Yes, pensions is a very, very important subject when it comes to financial planning. Certainly for those who have worked all their life and now getting towards the heydays, or certainly getting towards the last sort of 5-10 years of their working life, pension planning is vitally important. So today we are just going to touch on the subject of the different types of pensions and how they are taxed as a resident of France. Okay, so first off, as a British national or other foreign nationals, if you worked in Europe and have worked for governments, whether that's in the Ministry of Defence, whether that's the teacher, in the police, the fire brigade, these are known as government or civil service pensions. And as a resident of France, it is the country of where those pension is from that has the taxation rights. So you would not be taxed again on that particular pension as a resident of France, although the income itself does go against your French tax assessment. So therefore, if you do have pensions from other sources, so for example, you worked as a teacher for 20 years and then you decided to go freelancing, built up a private pension pot, then certainly the private pension pot needs to be assessed along with the teacher's pension to see if there's any additional pension tax that's due in France. Okay, now this is the general theme across most of the European economic area. Just want to touch on US nationals or those who worked in the US and have built 401ks. US pensions, due to the double taxation treaty with France, US has sole taxation rights. So again, a bit like a civil service scheme in other countries, but this time it's all forms of US pensions. Okay? Now, it's good to understand the taxation on pensions, but also it's good to understand how it's taxed and what we can do to actually try to mitigate some taxes in the future. So I'm just going to talk about those individuals who are holding private pensions or even company pensions where there's a value to it, and to decide what one can do now one lives in France. For those who may or may not know, in France there is a special pension lump sum tax. Now this pension lump sum tax allows you to withdraw a lump sum from a pension or a combination of pensions in one go. There is no limit on that pension lump sum. So in the UK, you know that pension freedom will allow you to take your pension in its entirety. So technically, you could take your pension in its entirety from the UK, and with the right tax filings, making sure you go through the right steps, you then only need to pay to the French 7.5% one-off lump sum tax. Okay. Now, in France, as you know, there is a social charge applicable as well. So yes, you may be liable for the pension social charge on that lump sum, which is currently 8.3%. However, if you are not a burden on the health system, so for example, if you have an S1, if you have full private medical care, you should get an exemption from the pension social charge. Therefore, you'd only be liable for the fixed income tax of 7.5%. So it is a great way to actually pay a one-off tax on a pot of pension fund, and then all you do after that is invest that money efficiently and draw down for the rest of your life. Okay, so it's a great way just to bring your tax base down in a very legitimate manner. and just more spending power of your cash at the end of the day, which you worked very, very hard for, of course, throughout your life. So then there are other things to consider. I'm not going to go into full right now because it'll take too long, but this notion of pensions, the special tax, how the different types of pensions are taxed, all form part of a very thorough financial plan that everybody needs to go through. I do believe that if you've not had a financial review and gone through all your assets, see where your pensions fits in, see where your savings fits in, then you are missing a trick. Get that review done, assess it, and really you ought to be doing this way before retirement. If possible, if you know you're going to be living in France in 6 months, a year's time, and you're in the UK right now, or you're in Thailand right now, you're in Australia right now, have a review. Get in contact with a European-based advisor who is a specialist for France to then understand, are there things that you can do before moving to France to make your life better? For those living in France already, speak to your advisor. Understand, what can you do? Okay? So this really completes our series on France. We talked about utilizing an assurance fee for your private savings and how that's taxed and how that's very beneficial. We've now talked about pension. So government-linked, government-type pensions, as you know, aren't taxed in France. The taxation right remains with the country where you accumulated from. So therefore, we're just talking about your SIPs, your QROPs, if you've got QROPs, and other private pensions that France has taxation rights. Okay, but do utilize that lump sum tax. It's a very powerful, powerful tool. You only get to do it once. You can't use it throughout, so just the once only. Otherwise, it'd be, well, the French would be losing out, of course. So in this case, just want to thank you all for watching my videos. I continue to add content. We're going to be doing more content next week and following weeks on various specific subjects, on specific products, okay? Do share my videos. I do want to get more likes, more followers, more subscribers on my various channels. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And thank you very much for your support. And that's it from me, from the Friday Financial Review. You have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It is the May bank holiday weekend. I'm actually off to a friend's house, camping in their garden. Wonderful. So have a great time, everybody, and I'll see you all next week.